Fire, the man with the desire. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the latest edition of Baptized Fire with Brother Martin. And I know I'm kind of shooting the show a little bit early with compared to what I scheduled it to, but quite frankly, I'll be honest with you guys. I am going to be spending some time with family, so I decided to cut this a little bit earlier. So hold on a second. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, there we go. So, yes, welcome to the latest edition of Baptized Fire with Brother Martin. For the ones that are going to join me live, I say thank you. For the ones that are going to join me afterwards and comment, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'd greatly appreciate it. And let's see who the comment is. Early baptized and the NXT women's tag belts go in the garbage can. What is going on tonight? I do not know, Brother Daniel. I have no clue, but I hope you're having a wonderful night. Daniel's one of my good friends, and I just want to say, brother, I hope you're doing well. I love you to death. And it's going to be a fun night, ladies and gentlemen, which I'm going to talk about a few subjects. I'm talking about some various subjects. I'm going to be talking about some subjects that are near and dear to my heart. I'm going to be talking about some subjects that aren't so serious because, quite frankly, why should they be serious when, and, you know, the thing is like with life, ladies and gentlemen, which I'm going to be silly for a minute. And the thing is that with some people, they tend to absolutely massively obsess about things that in the grand scheme of things don't mean jack shit, that don't matter, and it doesn't matter because it doesn't affect the ultimate outcome, like with where their life is headed. And I tell people this all the time because, don't get me wrong, you guys know that I'm a huge wrestling fan. You know I'm a mark from the word go. But there's a difference between my type of markism with comparison to a lot of other people that I've interacted with, especially on Twitter. And I gotta say this right now. I commented on a 30-second clip. Apparently, Will Ospreay was doing a one-winged angel, which for people that don't know what that is the finisher of the wrestler by the name of Kenny Omega. It's pretty much an electric chair front forward suplex into a pin combination. So I commented basically that I don't understand the appeal of it. I think that modern wrestling, for the most part, it's not a huge thing to where I feel that wrestling is wrestling. I hate to say it, but I think modern wrestling, with comparison to the way it used to be, it sucks. You guys might look at me, you're like, oh man, you're old school and you're kind of like Jim Cornette and this and that. Okay, you can say how you feel, and that's fine. I will, which I'll take that criticism. But for me, my version of wrestling is deep characters, great psychology, great stories, and for me, like the whole flip flop and fly nonsense, I'm just not a fan of. I'm not a fan of spot fest matches because this is the thing, guys, is that you end up with situations like Kenny Omega. I don't even think Kenny is which I don't even think he's 40 years old. I mean, you guys can fact check that for me. I don't think that Kenny is 40 years old, and he's been doing this spot fest style since the beginning of his career, and it's gotten to the point to where he is almost to the point to where he can't wrestle no more because of so many injuries. So for me, it's kind of like with that style, does it give to longevity? Not really. And secondly, with all due respect, like with wrestlers similar to Kenny, like the majority of their matches, they're very similar. And no offense, but I forget them by next week. And the thing is that's because for me, when I watch wrestling and I watch the characters and I watch the stories, I want to be invested to the point to where it's like, okay, these characters, these wrestlers, these performers, these athletes, they are fighting, but why are they fighting? What are the stakes? What brought them to this point to where they are in the middle of the ring? to tear each other limb from limb. That's what I'm interested in, okay? And then, like, the action comes secondary for me. First it's the story, and then it's the action. Because, like, without the story, the action doesn't mean jack shit. So I really firmly believe that with all my heart. So back to what I was saying, I was commenting on Twitter about Will Ospreay, and I got attacked from all sides. People calling me brain damage, calling me a moron, this, that, the other, because I guess that I'm not entitled to my own perspective and my own opinion. Because this is the thing, guys, and this is the God honest truth, and a lot of people who claim that they're pro-speech, like they're pro-expression, the moment you speak against something that they don't agree with, they will attack you and demean you from every which way possible. And for me, that's pretty much what happened. And I made a point to say, now if you get Adam Cole, you get Kenny Omega, you get Will Ospreay, and you get Jay White. Can you honestly tell me what their gimmicks are? And what are the vast differences between their gimmicks? Because to me, the majority of modern wrestlers look like my next door neighbor, and like, and modern wrestling is less about the characters and the psychology, and more geared towards 5-star matches and spot fest and like, oh my god, look what he can do next. Okay, so it's going to get to the point to where the wrestlers are doing so much to the point to where they're going to be hurting themselves on a nightly basis. And if you guys pay attention to modern wrestling, especially like within like the past year, there's a bunch of internet darlings that have been hurt and sidelined because their styles don't really translate to long-term wrestling when it comes to their careers. So for me, I'm more of a fan of the wrestlers that are more character-based, the ones that are smarter in the ring, the ones that slow down, like the ones that bother to make you feel. I like to feel. For me, I want those wrestlers that even for like a split second, like a split moment, for 2 seconds, suspend my disbelief and get me thinking, wait a second, is this real? And they're that good with their characters. I would put The Fiend in that category. I believe, don't get me wrong, he is over the top 100%, but he gets me to feel, okay? When it comes to The Miz, he gets me to feel. When it comes to MJF, definitely, he gets me to feel. And the reason why I'm a massive Killer Kross fan is because he gets me to feel. He gets me to buy into his character 100%, and he gets me invested. And this is the thing, he doesn't have to do 40,000 high spots to keep your attention. It's the way he carries himself, with his mannerisms, with the way he walks, the way he talks. Each move means something, which leads to a crescendo, which leads to the end of the match from beginning to end. And that's wrestling to me, guys. And apparently some people got upset with me because I even I even said something that kind of really upset a few people. Hold on. Daniel said, "You fucking Mark." Yes. And Daniel also said that I just don't want to be cursed by Danhausen. He gets me every time. And this is the thing, is a lot of people, they get upset with me because I also made the statement that Danhausen is more entertaining than Will Ospreay. He's more entertaining than Adam Cole. He's more entertaining than Jay White, because guess what? He is a character that has me invested to where I care. Yes, he's wacky, he's off the wall, and he's a fucking nut job, but by God, he actually cares about getting the fans to focus on what he's doing, even if it's silly. For example, Doink the Clown. Me and John, we complimented Doink constantly. One of the most underappreciated heels of the mid-90s. The guy was absolutely fantastic, and he played his character perfectly, and the guy was a fucking little clown. And that tells you right there, you don't have to have like a badass gimmick to get over. It's about how you play your character and the commitment to it, and what you do whenever you get out there to grab the audience and get them to believe in you. And for me, I got people that say to me, well, you clearly haven't seen Will Ospreay within the past 3 years. Well, wait, hold on. Like I said, you clearly haven't seen Will Ospreay recently because he's supposedly changed within the past 3 years. This is the thing, guys. Like I said, there's no difference to me with Will, with comparison to Kenny Omega, with comparison to Jay White, fucking Adam Cole. Roughly 75% of modern wrestling, it's very vanilla and it's very bland to me, because the majority of the wrestlers, like I said, care less about characters and psychology and and they're more focused on flip flop and fly, high spots, and basically choreographed gymnastics. That's what my wife said to me one night. She's like, that a lot of these wrestlers, it's like fucking gymnastics. You can tell that it's already pre-planned and everything else, and that's something else that I miss, okay? Because there's very few modern wrestlers that call their shit in the ring, and which I know Cross is one of them, Cody's one of them, I know Daniel Bryan's one of them. I know there's a few left that still call it in the ring, and they're freaking ring generals, and they're doing, and they do a great job on it. Because this is the thing, guys. Let's say that you plan a match out from top to bottom. Now, let's say that there's a certain spot where like the crowd starts reacting differently. Will you start to change things up to adapt to that reaction, or are you going to continue to go through the motions like you planned no matter what? That's partially why there's a bunch of matches out there that people could care less about, that are forgotten from one week to the next because of a bunch of modern wrestlers' refusal to adapt to crowd reactions. It's not about doing it for the crowd. What it's about is, oh man, I gotta get my shit in. And Kevin Nash, who just recently had a podcast come out. It's called Click This. I would highly advise you guys to watch it. Encourage you to. He actually talked about the reactions of people. He actually talked about how modern wrestlers just wrestle way too fucking quick, and they don't slow down. They don't bother like to lead the fans along to milk the match, and like to build, and once again like to build it up to like that grand crescendo that makes it such a sweet sport to watch. And Kevin Nash was conversating with it was Shawn Michaels, and Shawn said the fans are conditioned, and the wrestlers are conditioned to they are conditioned to do the style, the spot fest style. And like I said, guys, you wonder why, with all due respect, why modern wrestling, people tell me it's a massive boom now, which in my opinion, there's a boom when it comes to the accessibility of content. There's a boom when it comes to these companies opening up. I agree with you on that. But when it comes to grabbing the casual fans, in my opinion, which I'm going to quote Vince Russo, the casual fan is long gone because of many companies' refusals to cater to them. They cater to their core audience, and they cater to like their niche audience, and that's it. And that's what has always boggled my mind. Hold on, and Daniel said something. Killer Kross would be perfect for the NWA, in my opinion. More old school feel to him. I agree 1,000%. Kross would be absolutely phenomenal in the NWA. and Daniel says that he's going for Moxley for the Wrestler of the Year. Moxley's having a phenomenal year. More power to him. I think which I think it's extremely awesome that Moxley was able to get sober, to get back on his feet, and he's kicking ass better than ever. So God bless Moxley. I love him to death. So with my critique of modern wrestling, I'm just going to say this, guys. When it comes to the modern fans, and once again, you guys know that I'm not the biggest Russo mark like I used to be, because certain things he's said and certain things he's done I don't agree with whatsoever. But one thing he did say, once again, I can't believe I'm quoting Russo tonight, is that when it comes to modern wrestling fans. No, wait. Scratch that. It's not Russo. It was the Disco Inferno. He said when it comes to modern wrestling fans, they're some of the most embarrassing, cringe-worthy people out there because of the way they act whenever someone has a difference in opinion. They have a tribal mentality to where you have to be pro WWE, pro AEW, pro Ring of Honor, pro New Japan, or you're a sack of shit. Basically, you gotta pick a side. Can't we all just be wrestling fans? And can't we all just respect our differences and opinions, which instead of attacking each other? I mean, which I know, there's a good group of wrestling fans, which I'm friends with, and they respect my opinion. Now, are they Spotfest fans? Yes, definitely. Which I respect what they like. Do I like it? Not really. But I will just say, hey, I mean, that's what you like and that's what you enjoy. That's fine. But don't be surprised when I'm critical of it because I don't like it. But they will still respect the fact that I'm critical, and they will defend my right to speak my mind. Unfortunately, like I said, not only with wrestling fans, but just with people in general, with the world in general, especially with the United States, we have a very tribal mentality to where it's Alright, guys, I'm back. Alright, I'm sorry about that, but like I said, which is a matter of fact, like my computer's been acting up lately, just like randomly, just like rebooting. I don't know what the hell the deal is. I guess for like an update or something. But anyways, but like I said, similar to like the wrestling community, like the United States, we have like the tribal mentality of where you're either for Democrats, you're for Republicans, you're an independent, or you're a Christian, or you're an atheist, you're this, you're that. Quite frankly, guys, I swear to God, it drives me bonkers. Like I said, can we not agree to disagree and respect each other's opinions? Because honestly, this country and the wrestling community and everything else, it's gone down the fucking shitter, man. With with like this wokeness, with the political correctness, with the ignorance, with everything. It's absolutely disgusting how everything has gone. And the thing is for me, I just wish once again, once again, wrestling is a silly example, but I just wish people, even down to the love of wrestling, we could all agree to disagree and have our own perspectives and celebrate our fandom, no matter how different it is. And we celebrate the fact that we have differences in opinions. Guys, let's do that. Let's bother to give a shit about that, because honestly, it's just crazy how things have gotten. But anyways, I just want to say once again to all the wrestling fans out there that are like super duper like Will Ospreay marks, good for you. And I've had people send me suggestions for matches, like Will Ospreay versus Shingo, and Will Ospreay versus this person and that person. Quite frankly, guys, I've seen about 10 Will Ospreay matches within the past 2 years, and they all look the same to me. I'll be honest with you, he doesn't grab my attention, and he doesn't really tickle my fancy. So, and this is the thing too, guys, is if you want more people to be fans of him or a particular wrestler, my advice is if you want your particular wrestler to be more exposed, to where like there's more content out there for people to see, and you want to send them to that content, my advice is don't be a complete asshole whenever somebody disagrees with who you like, because the average person that might be on the fence, they're going to think to themselves, well, wait a second, that person is a complete douchebag that's defending this particular wrestler, whether it's Will Ospreay, Adam Cole, Jay White. It doesn't matter. So why should I bother? Why should I bother to even go look into this guy whenever these assholes are defending him? I'm just telling you guys, that's how it looks, and that's partially why certain wrestlers don't get the attention they deserve when it comes to growing their audience faster than what they should. It's because of, unfortunately, the fans set a bad example for them. Back to the whole United States thing, guys, because I know that I'm going back and forth. That's kind of like with modern Christians, especially the evangelical conservatives. They are the biggest reason for atheism, like within our country, because the examples that they're setting, or lack thereof, for people when it comes to like the lack of love, the lack of respect, like the lack of compassion for people that are minorities, that are poor, that are non-believers, that are less fortunate, everything. Quite frankly, they don't give a shit, because if you don't believe what they believe in and you don't go by exactly what they want, then like you're lower than whale shit and you're going to hell. No, it doesn't work that way, guys. The Jesus that I know doesn't teach like that. He teaches loving your brother, loving your sister, no matter what, who they are, where they are, what they look like, where they come from, and how they've gotten there. It doesn't matter what they believe in. What matters is the fact that that individual is within your life, and that's an opportunity for you to shine that light that's God's put like within your heart. Now, don't get me wrong. Now, is there times where you're going to come across people that are not believers? Yes.
Most definitely. And are there going to be times where you shine that light and they still don't believe? Yes, that happens all the time. But the fact is that God will bless you and God will reward you for not being a judgmental jackass and for you loving them no matter what. And no matter who they are and no matter what they believe. That's what we're all called to do, ladies and gentlemen, as Christians. So for me, like I said, I'm a progressive liberal Christian, and that's how I see things. And Brother John, I hope you're having a phenomenal night so far. I love you to death. John has had a long work day, and I hope that he's doing well. And I want to give 2 birthday shout-outs, actually. I want to give a shout-out to John's son. He's having his birthday today. I know John is extremely proud papa. His son is in the service. He's doing us proud, and he's fighting for the protections for people like me, for people like you to speak freely like we do. For me to be able to speak like Jesus, no, not speak like Jesus, but speak the words of Jesus and be able to celebrate the fact that I'm a Christian and not fear that persecution. That's due to the sacrifices of John's son, John, my brother, my grandparents. So many people that have served to sacrifice to give you those freedoms for those expressions. The freedom of expression that you do have, people fight for it. And just like we fight for that tooth and nail, we need to fight for love. We need to fight for forgiveness. We need to fight for understanding of differences between each other. And instead of closing the door on those opportunities to get to know somebody because you don't agree like with their view or what they believe in, think to yourself, why don't I bother to step through that door, sit down with them, and wonder why, and sit down and discover why they got to where they got to where, and how they're viewing life the way they're viewing it. All right. John said, blessed here, brother. Hold on. He said, thank you, brother. Happy 21st birthday to my wonderful son, for sure. He is out celebrating his 21st in a field training exercise in Texas heat for the next 10 days. Oh, good Lord, man. That's a wonderful gift right there. And John also said, blessed to hear, bro. Long days mean life is great. Amen, brother, because those long days lead to those even longer days down the road of retirement. Being able to sit back, relax, travel the world with your amazing wife. That's your number one supporter, like the one that stood by you through thick, through thin, and through it all. Me and you, John, we are truly blessed because we have 2 phenomenal women that have literally stuck it out, dude, with us, man. From us being drug addicts to like nearly everything that we've been through. We've had 2 wonderful women that have stuck by us and that have led us down the right path to get our lives rectified, fixed, and just reconciled, man. Like, God, honest truth, man. God put those women in our life for a reason, and I'm grateful for that. I really am. All right, so hold on. We got new comments here. Looks like you are in an inversion chair. Actually, I am not. I am actually in my bed right now. I spent mine in boot camp, and now he gets to spend his sweating his ass off in the field. You damn right. We're like father, like son. And plus John says that he's very blessed always, for sure. Amen, brother. Like, we are so blessed with beyond a shadow of a doubt, from our jobs to our children to our wives to our homes, everything. Me and John are living, breathing examples of that. If you work hard enough and you have enough faith and you're willing to do what it takes, and you can achieve anything. God puts those people within our lives to even help us during those times where things aren't so great. Because guess what? Sometimes you fall down. You can't get back up on your own. You got to have those people like to lift that hand out, like to lift you up. And guess what? God puts those people within your life to help you and to get that hand out there to help lift you up. And you know what? It's a beautiful thing. And for me, it's my wife. For John, it's his wife. All right, brother. What's your question for the day? Okay, you have all these great topics tonight, but what are you most grateful for today? Okay, so for me, I am most grateful for the fact that I woke up this morning and that God gave me the ability to spend my day off with my children. That God gave me the ability to spend time like with my wife. And it's a beautiful thing because today, me and my wife, we went shopping for our son's 15th birthday, which my wonderful son James, he's gonna be turning 15 on Thursday. I'm so proud of him. I'm blown away, guys, that I have a 15-year-old son. Man, time flies by. So my encouragement to everybody out there is, do not waste precious moments that you can ever get back. Don't waste those, because consider it like you holding sand within your hands, and like those tiny little grains going through your fingertips and going through like your hands, and which it's going to get to the point to where you only have a few grains left. And then what? That time where those grains like were going through your fingers, were you thinking to yourself, man, which I have enough time. God, I have enough time. I'm going to have plenty of time. And then before you know it, you look down, you got very little sand in your hands, and you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, wow, I got so much to do and so little time. So I encourage people, use that time wisely. Yes, thank you, Brother John. Happy birthday, James.
And
yes.
I want to say one thing too. You and John are real daddies.
Thank you. I know we're real
Not
daddies.
weekend daddies or daddies that say, "Oh, I wanted this baby to show off," and then don't help take care of it.
Yeah, which I've been taking care of my son for the past 12 years, and I'm very blessed to have him.
13 years.
Huh?
13.
Well, 13. No.
Yes, about 13.
Yeah, about 13. But anyways, like the thing is that but me and you falling in love led to that opportunity for me to be his dad. So I'm grateful for you as well. So it all worked itself out.
You gotta be grateful. Do you know how much I suffered to get that child here?
Yes, I know. And I'm grateful for the suffering. I really am. John says that I wake up every single day and I always thank God for being here and being able to live life the best I can. We all need to learn to be grateful for all we have. Amen, man.
How old was John's son whenever he came into his life?
I'm gonna be honest with you. John told me. I cannot think of it off the top of my head.
Well, I'm sure he'll message you and tell you.
Yeah. But anyways, but like the thing is that for me and for John, we're like kindred spirits to where we can relate. Okay, so John, like the question is, how old were you whenever you came into your son's life?
And did he like you right away? Because I gave my stepdad a hard time.
And he also says that I know that there have been times when I didn't always have an attitude of gratitude, but that's no way to live life, in my opinion. Being grateful keeps us humble.
Oh yeah, I agree.
So,
I think we all go through that phase.
Okay, so John was 23 years old. He's 40 now, so like that's 17 years ago. His son was 4.
How old is his son now?
21.
Oh, it's his 21st birthday.
Yep.
All right.
But his son is doing, he's doing training exercises for like 10 days. So yeah,
Does
it's.
he have his birthday off?
No.
What day is his birthday?
It's today.
Oh, tell him I said happy birthday.
Priscilla says happy birthday to your son as well.
Birthday.
And plus, speaking of birthdays, I mean, like, we got your son's birthday today. Like, my son's birthday is on Thursday. And my favorite wrestler, Killer Cross. His birthday's today, actually.
Is it really?
Yes. So a shout out to my favorite wrestler, Mr. Killer Cross. Happy birthday, my friend. I believe. Hold on a second. He was born in '85, so I think he's 37 today, 38.
Oh, he's so much older than us.
Something like that. So yeah, happy birthday, Cross. But okay, so hold on. We had a great relationship always from the start. Yes, me and my son, we were the same as well.
Me and my stepdad didn't at first because he was
Thank
training.
you. He said, "Thank you, Mrs. Martin."
You're welcome.
He really appreciates it. So I mean, it's
He's lucky though, and this is the thing too. A
What's
lot
that?
of kids, like even like me, like when you have step parents, when you're a kid, you don't realize. And I don't know John's son, but if he doesn't realize it yet, but I'm not saying he doesn't because I don't know.
What?
But like a step parent, a child will always respect you. They may not respect you when they're kids.
I believe
They
you.
see it something completely different.
his son
But-
respects him.
Well, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But and you guys may fight or whatever. But me and my stepdad, like, I'll be honest with you, I love my stepdad more than my real parents. I hate to say that
Oh yeah.
because my stepdad has always been there for me, and he's loved me when he didn't have to,
I
and
know.
it wasn't necessarily his place. And that man, that I love my stepdad so much. Like,
Which
I do. I respect him
I know.
so much. I do,
I know.
and I love him so much.
Because it's kind of like what
Because I
you.
can call him no matter what, and he will come help me.
I know.
He might be irritable with me or whatever, but I know he freaking loves the shit out of me. I know he does.
Yeah, that's what every real daddy does.
And he didn't have, and he doesn't have to.
Oh yeah, and that's a prime example of family doesn't necessarily
Have to be blood.
it has to be blood because, which I'll be honest with you guys, and I've been open, I've been blunt, I've been honest about this. Like the majority of my family is backwoods podunk white trash. So, and like the same goes like for her family. So like there's very few people within our lives family wise that we can honestly say are good, decent people that have been there for us no matter what.
Don't get me wrong, me and my stepdad, we have words and we may argue, but no matter what, at the end of the day, I always tell him, Larry, I love you.
Yeah.
And I do. And this is one thing too. Kids, they may not realize and they may not tell you, but one day, hopefully they will if they haven't already, that step parents, as long as you treat them right and you're good to them, that will make the biggest impact on their life. Like
I know.
it really will.
I know.
I'm not talking just to John. I'm talking to people
I know.
in general.
Because in my opinion, being a stepdad is twice as hard because you have to
You have to
make
choose
up
to
the
love that
difference.
person.
Well, not only that, but you have to make up the difference that the piece of shit sperm donor left behind. So yeah, there's a lot that goes into
there
it.
leaves a big void too in that child.
yeah.
And you may not see it. They may not say anything, but it does. It really does, and it really deeply affects them.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so John said that, which I had moments where it was hard, too hard as a young man learning to be a good parent.
Oh yeah, I agree. gotta
And
be.
my dad and grandpa taught me so much to be a good man and parent. Yep, and which I can honestly say for me, the three main men like that had like the biggest impact on me being a parent. It was my grandpa Robert, my dad, and my brother Anthony. Those are the three men that I respect more than anything, that just really showed me what it meant to be a man and to take care of your children. So like for me, I'm just like the birthdays, don't get me wrong, I mean yes I'm excited like to celebrate it, which I think I'm more excited for than my son is, because this is a day where we get to celebrate one of the building blocks of this family coming together. And
I'm so sad because I
it's
realized
just so
that
beautiful.
James was going to be out of the house in a few years, and I
Yeah.
was listening to music the other day, crying about it. I was just
Yeah.
crying like a baby because he's about to be grown.
That's
and
why-
he's going to leave, and he's going to leave me behind.
Dude, that's why I made the point earlier about time is kind of like you holding sand like within your hands, and like those little grains of sand like is falling through your fingers, and which it gets to the point to where you just have like a little bit left, and you start to think to yourself, holy shit.
Right, like, don't get me wrong.
I got a lot to
times
do.
where I think myself bad. it's only a few more years till he turns 18, but then, on bad days, the days are long, but the years are short.
I got you, baby. All right, so yeah, guys. When it comes to like my son's birthday, I'm super excited. I'm blessed. This is a great opportunity for us to celebrate our family, like to celebrate our son, and which I would encourage a lot of you people to see your children's birthdays, like your wives, like your husbands, their birthdays as the opportunities, like to celebrate that as building blocks for your family to bring your family together, because ultimately
You never know when it might be the last.
birthdays should be celebrated. Birthdays should be a day where you rejoice. And like for me, like the first January 1st, when like the new Walmart work calendars come out, the first day that I always request off is July 21st because it's my son's birthday. So for me, I see it as a day to celebrate our family. So I'm excited, guys. I'm stoked. I'm excited, which I got 2 days off. I got the 21st and 22nd off, and my work is just awesome when it comes for me to get the time off. And like I said, that goes back to my marriage. Whenever I'm talking about like my wife, like the fact that my son chose to bring me into his life, and he chose to give me a chance, that led to me having that opportunity with my wife for us to get married. So guys, like I said, kids play a bigger role like within your life than you realize. And for me, I will always be grateful for the fact that my son chose for me to stick around so I could spend my life with him, so I could spend my life with his mom, so eventually his sister would be here. Guys, it all happens for a reason, and like I said, it all happens by divine design. I love that saying because it's so true. God's got a plan for us all. God's got a reason for it. God's got just all this stuff just planned out to where, you know what, I wouldn't say planned out, but God has paths carved out for our lives. And as long as we do good, we do right by our family, we do right by him, he'll let us walk down paths where we're more successful than if we weren't to follow and be as good to our families. And then the other paths would be more frustrating and more difficult. And I feel like God lets us go through those difficult moments so we can appreciate and value what we have even more. Because I know for me, like the moment that I start to take credit for something, God tends to step back and he tends to let me fall flat on my face, because it's those moments that humble me to make me realize, okay, God, that's not about me, because it's about me being a vessel for you to be the provider for my family, to be the dad, to be the husband, and to be the shining example for others to follow that might not know you. That's what I'm here to do. So yeah, John said a great point. He said difficult moments add character to us all, in my opinion. I agree 1,000%. It's those moments that do add character, and which I'm going to be transitioning into speaking of character. John, you talk about character. There's something that's been really upsetting with me, because I'm going from like a happy topic to a somewhat depressing topic, which still involves children and kids, and still involves parents. And that is the recent shootings in Uvalde, Texas. Okay, so there was an internal investigation done to the police, and which apparently there was footage leaked of the cops and their response to like the elementary school that they went to. Now, long story short on it, there was a 77-minute gap from the time the cops got there to the time the mass shooter completely massacred those children. And within those 77 minutes, over 400 cops, sheriffs, the FBI, state troopers. There was all different branches of like the police force, SWAT team, whatever you want to call them. 400 people showed up. And unfortunately, they had the opportunity from the time that piece of shit stepped onto that property. The guy was firing at the building before he even stepped in the building. There were 2 armed officers that could have took him out before he even came in. But like the cowards they were, they didn't do jack shit. The guy stepped into the building and he completely massacred those children. There's videotape of cops getting hand sanitizer, cleaning their hands. There's video of cops on fucking cell phones not doing shit while there's gunshots being rung out, screaming children, teachers being murdered, everything under the sun that could be imagined as being horrible with the mass shooting was occurring. And yet it really frustrates me because I have people that tell me up and down that a good guy with a gun will always kill a bad guy with a gun and fucking protect. This situation gets me questioning that scenario right there, because ultimately if you have over 400 people show up to that building that have the ability to prevent this from occurring further than what it did, and do not do jack shit for 77 minutes, there is a problem there. And this is the thing. The majority of police, which I grew up in Baltimore City, and I'm going to say this, if it was an unarmed black man that was assumed to have a weapon on him, they would have no issue whatsoever throwing him down to the ground, claiming that they were being threatened and murdering the guy. You have more minorities being murdered by cops, and you have more children being massacred by mass shooters. And yet, people say to me, man, we don't need to defund the police. We don't need to do this. We don't need to do that because, everything's fine. There's no problems, man. We need to keep our guns. We need to keep this. We need to keep that. Quite frankly, it's complete bullshit. It is bullshit, and you guys know I'm right. And which I've made this point before, and it's fucking rang true, and it's a fact. You guys can look it up. Every single nation that has adopted strict gun control regulations has had less than 5%. Scratch that. They've had their mass shooter rate since, I believe, 1995, going back to Australia, in all of these major nations, is less than 5%. 5%. With comparison to what we have here. And with Australia, a shout out to Dean, by the way, there's been 0 mass shootings since 1996. 0. Because of their strict gun regulations. Canada, I think since they've adopted strict gun regulations, I don't even think there's been more than 20 mass shootings since then. And yet we have hundreds every single year because we have a hard-on for guns in this country. And this is the thing, guys. Once again, I have no issues with people owning guns. responsible Americans owning firearms that use it for hunting and for sport. I understand that. I'm all for that. But if you tell me that there should be looser gun laws and there shouldn't be stricter background checks, then you're out of your damn mind. Because guess what? You're the type of individual to where you're not going to want shit to change. That's until it directly affects you. So how about instead of saying, hey, let's ignore it and let's things continue, why don't we speak up and do something about it now, so you don't get to the point to where something happens to your child and you're like, well, fuck, maybe I should have said something, and maybe I should have voted, maybe I should have really let my voice be heard. We have I believe it's over 20 million AR-15s in this country. 20 million. My brother, he's in the service, and he said to me, he said, Christopher, he said, there is no logical reason for a civilian to own an AR-15. And like the biggest excuse, the two biggest reasons that people give me, it's because it makes me feel safer. And what if multiple people break into my house and I have to protect my family? No offense, but the likelihood to that is minimum to fucking non-existent. Because most break-ins, it's between 1 to 2 people, like with break-ins. And no offense, but if you can't take them out with a pistol or like a shotgun, then you got a fucking problem. So I'm just saying, people, it's disgusting what happened in Texas. I believe that every single one of those cops should be held accountable, and they should all be fucking dismissed, suspended, fired, whatever it takes. They need to be reprimanded and taught a fucking lesson, because this is the thing, ladies and gentlemen. They literally were cowards that put their lives ahead of those children. And they took an oath to do the opposite. But unfortunately, which if you guys do research, like the training that most cops are given, like within this country, it is to protect themselves before the public. And you guys might think I'm nuts, but I'm dead serious. Look it up. You can pause this later on, and you can look it up. Like the majority of the training for the police force, like within this country, it is to protect themselves before the before the civilians. And it's really, really unfortunate in that case. And like I said, if it takes defunding them to get people to wake up and to wisely have the precincts or whatever you call them spend their money more wisely on training, then maybe we need to do it. I don't know, guys. I'm just saying that in general, because if they're not doing what they're supposed to begin with, what the fuck is the point in loading them up and funding them like we do? I get it, especially like those Texas cops, like those Texas cowards, as I want to call them. They're the type of guys that got bullied in school, and they're like, which I'm going to show you, and they figured that because they got picked on and because they have small penises, that they wanted to become cops to show off. And when it came down to it and the fucking rubber hit the road, they didn't do shit to prove that they were worthy of that position. And it's fucking disgusting. I'm sorry, but it is, guys. I know I'm getting a little bit off the beaten path, but it really, really upsets me, the fact that these children are dead. And this is the thing, guys. That could have potentially been one of your children. And then what? Are you still going to shout Second Amendment, this, that? Yeah, let's have fucking automatic weapons that like a fucking, I mean, it's sad because it's more difficult to adopt a puppy in this country than it is to get a firearm. Okay, it's sad that we live in a nation to where guns have more rights than women do. I mean, there's so many things that are ass backwards within this country that we need to rectify and that we need to fix. And like I said, guys, when it comes down to it, if we can't even protect our own children and make that promise to sacrifice for them, then what kind of people are we when it comes to it? We should be embarrassed. We should be ashamed. So like I said, all those cops should be fired. They're cowards. I pray for those children's family. I could not imagine the hell that they're going through, because like my three biggest fears in life. Like my biggest fear is losing my children. Like my second is losing my wife, and like my third is not being able to provide for them. Those are my three biggest fears, and damn it, I could not imagine what they're going through. Because which I've lost my parents, I've lost, like my godparents, like my parents, I've lost like my childhood best friend, I've lost, my grandparents on like my dad's side. I've lost quite a few people within my life, but you know what? I can only imagine the pain that I would go through if I were to lose my children. I couldn't fathom it. I don't even wish it on my worst enemy. I don't even wish it on anybody, because I don't want them to feel that pain. I really don't. Nor do I want to experience that pain, because children should be burying their parents. It shouldn't be the other way around. And we have the opportunity, especially in November, like to vote, like to let our voices be heard, like to change things for the better, guys. Whether you are a Republican, a Democrat, I don't give a fuck, because both sides have failed tremendously. And it's like the Republicans, they failed by not doing jack shit to acknowledge there's a problem. And like the Democrats, they failed by really not taking any action whatsoever when they have the ability to. It's disgusting. It's disgusting, and it gets you to think, what's the point in having these people in the office in the first place if they're not going to do their duty to protect and serve the American citizens? And also, I'm a firm believer that if you stand by and you are a supporter of a certain person and you partake and you partake in something and you see something happening and you have the ability to stop it and you don't, I feel like you're just as guilty as the person that is doing the terrible thing, and you should be held accountable. So straight up, I believe those cops should be charged with murder for the simple fact they let it happen. They had the ability to take that piece of shit out, and they didn't. They were too busy on their cell phones. They were too busy sanitizing their hands. I don't give a fuck. The whole chain of command excuse, I don't give a shit. Common sense should tell you, do what it takes to protect those children. And you know what? It's better to take action now to protect, and which it's better to take action now than ask for forgiveness later, than to not do shit at all and live with regret. So I'm telling you guys, there's a lot of answering that people are going to have to do. But anyways, man, it's which has been like a fun show so far, and which I'm going to end this on a light note. And I'm going to give a shout out to a show that I actually listened to, which I actually listened to a few days ago, and quite frankly, which I'll be blunt with you guys, I wasn't the biggest fan of it, based off the fact that it's just a nonstop bash fest. But I gave it a shot, and lately, which I've been like a lot more mellow, I've been like a lot more laid back, and which I've been a lot more willing to really just
let bygones be bygones on things and just let shit go. Because I realize sometimes I take myself way too seriously, and sometimes I just need to laugh at myself. So I've been learning to do that more. So like my friend Mike Durban, he sent me a link, and he suggested for me to listen to like the part 1 and 2 of the finale of Get My Go for season 2. Okay, I believe it was 70, which was 71 and 72. Don't quote me on it. I'm not an expert on this. But I gotta say, from like the bottom of my heart, that shit was funny. That shit was absolutely hilarious. And which I gotta say something. Something that Dean said that really, really made me laugh, and I nearly fucking pissed myself. It was, Dean said that how can you excessively flash somebody for minutes on end? And that completely fucking just made me crack up, and that's true. You can't excessively flash somebody on minutes on end. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, then make sure to check it out. It's Get My Go on YouTube, and it's which is available on all major podcasting platforms, and it's 71 and 72, I believe. And something else which I noticed was, for once, which I'm not saying that they haven't before, because honestly, which I've only listened to 3 total shows ever of the entirety of the program. I've only listened to 3 shows, and these 2 shows, hands down, they were more respectful and more fair towards my friend John than ever before, from what I've heard from like clips that's been sent to me, and from what I've heard prior. And which I just want to say, guys, thank you for that. I do appreciate it, because ultimately, with the revelations of what's been happening to a certain radical one, people are starting to wake up and realize that John's actually a fairly good guy. And he is not the fucking monster that everybody wants to paint him out to be. So thank you guys for being more fair towards him, and thank you for being fair towards me. I do appreciate it. And which, if we're being fair, we're gonna say something really quick. And Chad, like the Chadster, as you like to be called. I'm going to say this really quick. I personally have no issues with you. I don't. Which, if I've ever said anything like that in the past, not saying that I haven't, but if I had, which I do apologize. Because, honestly, I say so much shit that sometimes I just completely forget. So, I just want to say that you are funny as shit. You're a funny guy. And 2 things, okay? First off, I understand you think my podcasting is atrocious. But first off, you're partially to blame for me podcasting in the first place, because if it wasn't for me discovering the 2-man Power Trip show with Vince Russo, then that wouldn't have inspired me to check out Vince, which wouldn't have led me to talking to Vince and being motivated to podcast, to vent, to get my feelings out. So technically, it's partially your fault. Secondly, since we're being fair here, John's not from Northern New York. I don't know if you realize that or not. And he is a real New Yorker, actually. He's near a town called Binghamton, which happens to be in Southern New York. So if you're going to play Mr. Perfect and be extremely
extremely critical of him, make sure you get your facts straight. I mean, you guys are big on facts, right? You're big on you're big on proper speech. You're big on microphones being clear. Like, you're big on grammar. Like, you're big on a lot of stuff. Like, you're basically big on being just perfect. I understand that, and that's cool, man, because there's a lot of people out there that are perfectionists. But get your locations right, my friend. He's from Southern New York. So, like, the whole Canadian thing, man, while it's funny, man, just like I said, you guys want to point out the inaccuracies that we have, you know, so, which I'm going to point something out to you. But like, ultimately, like I said, my friend, I think you're funny. I think you're doing a great job. Which I think that you're hitting a home run, so to speak. Like, we're doing like baseball terms here, right? Like with home runs, since you're like a diehard Mets fan, dude. I wish you nothing but the best. Okay, and so does Mrs. Martin, because don't think I didn't hear that little whisper on one of these last couple episodes. So, like I said, I have an open door, and with that open door, I'm going to extend it to everybody at Get My Go. I would love to come on the show, which I would love to chop it up. I would love to laugh at myself. I would love to just build bridges.
Yeah. I mean, I don't wish anybody bad.
I know.
I get deeply offended when people talk crap about my husband. Even if I'm mad at you, we could be fighting.
I know.
I can say what I want, but if someone else does, they're looking at a ball of fire.
I agree.
Or the kids.
I agree.
Don't chew me out here.
I got you. But no, just in general. I mean, which I have an open door, and which I've been like a lot more laid back. I've been a lot more willing to let things go, like to laugh at myself. And like I said, you guys hit it out of the park, like with your last two episodes, and which I'm not being a sarcastic smartass. I'm being like 1,000% serious. Like that shit was genuinely funny. Thank you for being fair towards John. Thank you for being fair towards me. I do appreciate that. And now, if you do shit like that more often, you're going to see more positive responses. And this is the thing, guys. Like I said, I never claim to have the biggest audience, nor do I. And one more thing, though, before I go, because we're pointing out the inaccuracies. I know we are. Sometimes, like I said, like whenever not sometimes, about 98% of the time, me and John, whenever we record, it's past 11:30 p.m. And when it comes to our live shows, past 11:30 p.m., the average, we normally don't have massive audiences for the simple fact it's at 11:30 p.m. to midnight to 1 a.m. So my thing about it is, which if you guys are gonna mention like the minuscule live audiences, then please at least mention the fact that like we're doing it live at fucking midnight. That's all I'm saying. Let's call a spade here. Which I just want to say once again, you guys have hit a home run. You've done a kick-ass job like the past two shows. Dean, brother, you are hands down the star. Man, you are kicking ass. You are taking names. You are funny as shit. And which I just want to say, I respect you. And I think, once again, and I've said this before, I'm going to say it again, that if anybody else wants to be critical towards you, because like we're talking about children today, like we're talking about sons, daughters, you name it, if anybody that's a half-assed human being that wants to be critical of someone else is of someone else's parenting, when in fact they have literally nothing to do with their children, but yet they want to shit on somebody that is actually busting their ass, working hard, and being a real dad like Dean, then quite frankly, you can go take a giant long leap off a short fucking pier, because that speaks volumes to the type of person you are. But once again, we are talking about a person that threatened to release my wife's fucking police records, when in fact she had nothing to do with anything that was going on, because he couldn't find jack shit on me because I don't have a record. So once again, Dean, we might have our little slight differences, but I will stick up for you. You are a good dad, and I do think you're funny as shit. Mike, I gotta say, brother, I mean, thank you so much for talking to me. Thank you for being my friend. And there's certain days where you just randomly message me to see how I'm doing, and it really, which is those small things that really make a difference with people, guys, that you get like that little pick me up by just realizing that people do care, you know, guys. So I just want to say, Mike, thank you for that. You're doing a fantastic job with the editing with the show, and guys, I just want to say, and Chadster, buddy, old pal, you're growing on me. You're growing on me, my friend. You're not growing on me like certain body parts of Rob's that was growing while he was flogging his dolphin, but you get my point. You're growing on me. And maybe I can grow on you like a fungus, and like you wouldn't be able to get rid of me. I don't know. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, I wish Chadster you nothing but the best. I wish, I know, she's probably going to hear this. And I'm not doing this for clout, because quite frankly, I don't give a shit. But with Francine, once again, because I know with how close, like, the Chadster is to Francine, which I wish her nothing but the best, with whatever she does. When it comes, like, to wrestling, being a mom, being like a podcaster, everything, because ultimately, no matter where we're at, like, within our lives, we need to learn to put our differences to the side, and we need to learn to support each other, and we need to learn to uplift one another. But at the same time, though, we do need to hold each other to the accountability as well. So if we're doing something wrong, we don't need to just ignore it and throw it right under the rug, but we also need to acknowledge it, and we need to rectify, and we need to not throw the baby out with the bathwater, but we need to say, hey, you're making this mistake, fix it, and let's do this together. And like I said, ultimately, I have no issues with her. Which I wish her nothing but the best. She knows how to get out. Hell, the whole crew, you guys know how to get a hold of me, and which I would gladly talk to you. And Joe, Mr. Feeney, I just want to say, actually, I've started to listen to K100 again, and which I'm really starting to appreciate. What a great co-host you are. So I'm just saying, guys, now I'm starting to loosen up and just let go and be more laid back with everything. I'm starting to see things from like a more peaceful perspective, and it's pretty damn cool. So I just want to give you guys say great job for like the last two shows. I've had people send me clips of the Francine one, which I heard like a couple clips from it. I think I might do like a. I think I just, you know what? Now I think about it, she's entitled to her opinion, and I respect that, and that's all I'm gonna say. So, guys, I love you all. I just want to say, life's too short to continuously have enemies. So if you recognize that you're screwing up and that you're doing something to stop to stop others from seeing who you truly are, and like to see that light like within your heart, fix whatever you need to fix. That's what I'm working on right now. I'm not even close to being perfect by no means, but ultimately I want everybody to realize that we're all one giant family, and we need to love each other, we need to respect each other, and we need to be open, honest, and we need to hold each other accountable. And really quick, I'm sorry, I keep going on and on. And I just want to say this because I know that I just joked around when it came to Rob, but ultimately I really want the best for the kid. No, fuck, who am I kidding? Like, the guy's like 50 years old. He just behaves like a kid, but he's not one. Anyways, I'm sorry, I need to stop. Ultimately, I just want to say this. Rob, I pray that you figure out whatever you need to figure out, and you remove your head from your ass before it's too late, because it's going to get to the point to where people are just going to completely abandon you, and you're going to be on an island all by yourself. So my advice to you is, if you don't know what you're doing wrong, then ask people, and they'll gladly point it out. Me and John will nicely point it out. Now, whether you take our advice or not, that's on you. But like I said, now if you want a honest, non-biased, like fucking truthful view on what you're doing and how you can fix it, I'm here for you. But if you want to continue to think that you know everything, and you want to continue to burn bridges, then that's on you as well. So the choice is yours, my friend. But because like for me, I'm done with burning bridges. I'm done with being angry. I'm done with holding grudges, because it's just not worth it, man. Life's too short. So I just want to say, one more time to like to Get My Go crew, great job. You guys did a great job. So and Mr. Chadster, I know you read my Twitter message, man. Give me a shout out. Not publicly necessarily, but man, like, at least respond to me. Tell me that you either love me, you hate me, or something. Because, dude, I don't bite. But honestly, guys, because like the rest of the people, they'll gladly respond to me. So it is what it is. Because, like I said, I want to build bridges and not burn them. So I want to do it person by person by person, and just to fix the shit. And I'm not asking for people to be my best friend by no means, and nor am I going to ask them to be my acquaintances or this or that. But I just want to start building bridges to where things are peaceful, and knowing that I was able to put in the effort to fix or rectify whatever issues that are out there. So guys, that's me being open, and that's me being honest. And I just want to say, which I love you guys, which I want to say happy birthday to my son, happy birthday to John's son, happy birthday to Killer Cross. Which I want to say thank you to like my wife for being such an amazing woman. Which we've been together for 12 years. I could not ask for a better woman to be with. To like the parents in Uvalde, Texas, I will be praying for you continuously, because ultimately, what you're going through, you're going to need as much support as you can get. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. I wouldn't. And once again, to the internet wrestling fans, it's okay to have a differing perspective. Just calm the fuck down. It's okay to dislike somebody. That when it comes to wrestlers, that's part of being a wrestling fan, is celebrating our differences and like our styles. For me, I don't like
flip-flop and fly bullshit. I don't. So just because I disagree and I think that Will Ospreay looks like my next door neighbor doesn't mean that I'm brain damaged like you guys think. So it is what it is. But anyways, guys, I love you. You guys have a safe, blessed, joyous night, and I'm going to be spending the rest of the night with the wife and with the kids. So you guys have a good one. Peace.